Hello book lovers, and welcome back, or welcome to Nakad's Bookish Cafe, and welcome to a new vlog. Alright guys, today's reading vlog is gonna be for the month of February. I'm continuing my goal of doing one vlog a month because I do enjoy vlogging. However, for me as a slower reader, they are a little bit more time consuming. But this month in February, I've decided that the kind of theme of the vlog is going to be male romances, specifically adult male romances written by Black authors. I am a big fan of male or Achillean romances, and one thing I have noticed is that I don't often come across adult male romances that are written by Black authors. They're definitely a little bit more rare to find. The genre is definitely kind of dominated by white women, but luckily we're starting to see a little bit more diversity there, and I want to go ahead and make sure that I'm exploring that. So this video is kind of an opportunity for me to read some of the ones that I have come across and hopefully get those stories out there to you guys to check out. And of course, I would love to know your guys' recommendations if you have any. I want to take a quick moment and just throw up a screen that has a bunch of adult male romances by Black authors that I am aware of. These are on my radar either because I have already read them or because they are on my TBR. I did not do duplicates of authors, so if you see an author on there but not all of their work, I'm aware of like all their work. I just didn't want to like put it all on there for space reasons. So if you know any books by authors that aren't listed here, go ahead and leave those in the comments for me and the other people watching this video who are interested in checking those out. But in today's video, we are going to be reading 4 different books. I have 3 physical books and then a rather short audiobook. Usually when I do my vlogs, I only do 3 books because, like I said, I'm a slower reader and I do like to yap about my books. So with 3 books, we usually end up with a vlog that's, you know, well over an hour long. But that audiobook is only about 4 hours long, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of traveling this weekend, so I will have time to listen to it while I'm driving down to Portland for a friend's birthday and also to visit with another friend. So exciting weekend ahead of me, but also an exciting vlog. Let's quickly review the books that I'm going to be going through. I'm not going to go too in depth with the synopses because I'm going to do that when I actually pick up those books, but I want to give you an idea of what I'm going to be reading in this vlog so you can get excited for them. We then have a book that you see my bookmark in because this is going to be the first one I'm reading, called American Dreamer by Adriana Herrera. I'll talk a little bit more about this one in just a second since it is the one I'm starting with. And then the 2 other physical ones, we have one that has definitely been making the rounds. It's by Julian Winters, who I have seen a few books by, but I've never read him. And this is called I Think They Love You. Again, this is a contemporary romance, and it seems to also have second chance romance vibes to it. And then finally, an author that I have never heard of. Her name, I believe, is either Jace or JC Ellis, and it's called If You Love Something. And this is also kind of giving second chance romance vibes as well. So we got a couple second chance romances coming your way later in this vlog. But in the first book that I'm reading, this is the one author on this list who I have read before. I read her book, I believe it was called Finding Joy. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. I felt pretty lukewarm about it. I can't remember exactly what with the story didn't hit for me, but I do remember thinking that I definitely want to go ahead and give this author another try, that I really saw the potential for me to enjoy her work, and I've been wanting to pick her up for quite a while. So I'm excited to go ahead and be giving her I don't really want to say a second chance, because when I say a second chance, then I feel like I didn't like enjoy the first book, but I did enjoy it. It just didn't stand out to me or anything. But this book is following a man who is a food truck owner, and he lives in New York City, and he has kind of decided that the market is kind of oversaturated. He kind of feels like he's barely making ends meet, and he kind of wants to head out of New York City up the coast a little bit to a small town that doesn't have as much food truck activity, in hopes of finding a more profitable market there and really being able to make this a full-time career, because he says, I either need to start actually making some profit with this, or I need to kind of give up on this dream. So he's giving himself 6 months to kind of set up in this new place and hopefully have success with his business. Otherwise, he's gonna kind of return home and give up on this dream of owning a food truck. On the other hand, we are following a character who lives in the smaller town that he's heading to, and he seems like he's pretty happy with the way that his life is going. It seems that he might have had a little bit of a difficult past, and he's worked really hard to build this life for himself, and so he keeps telling him that this life he built is all that he needs. However, when he meets our other character, he starts to realize that maybe he wants a little something more out of life, and obviously it's going to be a little bit of a romance between the two of them. I will admit that the start of this month was a little bit rough. This whole year has been a little rough for me. I feel like I've been pulled in so many different directions because there's some work we're doing around the house, and I just have other stuff going on with doctor's appointments and usual messy life and all that stuff. So I feel like I've been struggling a little bit with reading and really finding the time to do it. And when I do find the time to do it, to like really sit down and focus on the reading instead of thinking about all the other things that I need to be doing. And so I'm picking this book up because compared to these two, which seem like they're gonna have quite a bit of maybe like family and relationship drama, this one seems like it's gonna be a little bit chiller. And honestly, I feel like that's what my brain needs. So I'm hoping for like a kind of sweet, chill time with this book. It's exactly what my brain needs, because I wouldn't say that I've been feeling overly anxious, but I have been feeling like a little bit overwhelmed, and I just feel like there's so many things that I need to be doing, and there's just not enough time to be doing them. That's adulthood. What can I say? So hopefully this book will be a really good time, and I'll have a lot of fun with it, and it'll be exactly what my brain needs. So I will go ahead and check in with you when I'm about 50 pages into this book to go ahead and give you my initial thoughts. I'm not sure how long this book is when it comes to a normal format. It's almost 380 pages, but as a mass paperback, so I don't think it's quite that long. It's probably closer to the just over 300 pages when it comes to a normal shaped book. So hopefully it won't take me too long to get into it, but I'm excited for this vlog. I've been looking forward to it for a while. I decided pretty early in January that this is what I wanted to do in February, so I'm hoping I have a good time with all of these books, and I hope you guys enjoy the vlog as well, and I will talk to you soon. right, guys, it is a little bit past 9 o'clock, and I'm going to get ready for bed here in a moment. I took my melatonin gummy and I'm gonna go to sleep because it has been a long day. It has been one of those days and I am ready to go to sleep. But I got 63 pages into my book, so I want to go ahead and give you my initial thoughts. And the good news is that I'm quite enjoying this book. It's giving me exactly the vibes that I was hoping to get from it. We are following a man who's moved to a smaller town. I mean, most towns are smaller than New York, but what would be considered a small town by most standards. And his mother and sister actually live there, as well as some other family members. So despite the fact that he's leaving New York behind, where he's lived for many years now, he's lived there, I think he said, since he was like 6 years old or so, and he's leaving some really good friends behind. He at least already has people there that he loves and are able to support him. And so we definitely have a lot of cozy family vibes that we're getting from here. It's a very close-knit family, and that's something that I always enjoy in a story, especially when we have a character who's out here pursuing his dreams and he has a support system that's rooting for him and really stepping up to make sure that he accomplishes those dreams of his. So far in these first few pages, we have had him driving up from New York City, and he has a little location across from the library that he's going to be setting up his food truck. And our other character, Jude, or is it Judd? No, I think it's Jude because it's Jude. Jude actually works as a librarian, and so obviously he is going to be making frequent stops at the food truck across the streets. And just like the synopsis promised, they had a very flirtatious introduction to each other. And at first, both of them are kind of like, well, we shouldn't really do anything with this. Like, yeah, we were flirting with each other, but Ernesto, or Nesto as he goes by, is like, no, I'm only here for 6 months. I gotta really lock in and focus on the food truck. It seems like the main goal is to be able to afford like a actual restaurant, like a building. And he's like, I don't have time to date. But obviously this first kind of interaction has stuck with him. And Jude, on the other hand, seems to be known around town, but also kind of known as someone who doesn't date. He's a little bit more mysterious. Even the locals are like, we don't know like that much about him other than the fact that he's a nice guy. He really is, but we don't know much about his past, and he isn't known for dating, despite the fact that a few guys have tried. And it was kind of mentioned that he's only had one relationship. He was talking about it a little bit with his friend, and we know it didn't end well. So I'm not really sure if it's this one relationship that he had that is preventing him from ever wanting to date again. But obviously there's something that's preventing him from really acting on these feelings that he has towards Nesto. And I will be interested to kind of see what happened in his past that's making him pursue the single life, despite the fact that there are clearly people around him that are interested in being something more. So far I'm quite enjoying it. I really enjoyed the descriptions of the food at the food truck when he was kind of explaining the food that he makes there. I was like, dang, it's a good thing that I was reading this shortly after eating dinner, because otherwise I would be in the kitchen trying to scrounge up some food, because it really did sound good. It seems to be kind of like fusion food, mostly Dominican with like some Cuban and other inspiration thrown in there, but everything sounded really good, especially because everything seems to come with like some sort of like pickled onions. and I love me some pickled onions. So the food sounds good, just as we expected it to, and I'm enjoying the characters and just the general vibes of the story. I will say that there seems like there's gonna be a little bit of a hurdle that these characters are gonna have to overcome in the form of a Karen. Yes, there is a Karen in this book, and she seems to be causing trouble for Jude at the library, and he can't really say anything about it because he is trying to get funding for a book bus to get library books out to the kids in more rural areas, and she is on the board who would be deciding if he gets the grant money for that or not. So he's kind of having to put up with her weird behavior, and her behavior is that she like eats his food. You know, like how some people seem to have coworkers that just eat their food out of the lunch fridge. Yeah, she like keeps doing that, and that's actually why they ended up going to the food truck, because she like ate his salad. He's like, I placed these blueberries very specifically on the salad, and half of the blueberries were gone. She ate my freaking salad. And I was like, what? And then she also shows up at Nesto's food truck at the end of the day and was like, I was just wondering if you had proper documentation. So she's definitely gonna be one of those people. But that'll just be a little bit of extra drama in this book. And we all love to see a Karen put in her place, and I'm sure that's what'll happen in this book. But that is my initial update. Like I said, I'm gonna go to bed. It is only Tuesday, and this week has been very long. And tomorrow I'm thinking I'm gonna try and run downtown after work. Unfortunately, quite a few of the stores close at 5, but I get off at 4, so hopefully if I head out, I'll have like at least half an hour to run into the store that I'm thinking about. And then there's a couple other stores which, fingers crossed, might have later hours. But this weekend, I think I mentioned, I'm not sure if I mentioned, I'm going to Portland, and one of the reasons I'm going down there is because a friend is having her birthday party, and she had a gift that she wanted, so I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm not really sure. It's like a bow, like a really big clip-in bow for your hair, and I don't think I've ever seen one. And I found out, or I asked her too late what she wanted for me to be able to like buy it online, unless I bought it from like Amazon, which I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna see if I can find one in one of the stores downtown. And if not, I'll just have to find her something else that's really nice, and then maybe order her one online and then get it to her the next time I'm down in Portland. But that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Also, Wednesdays are the day that I cook, so I have a feeling that I won't be having too much time to read in the evening because I'll be running around, but I was running around today as well. I had a doctor's appointment after work, and then I had the gym. So it's been a long day today. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. I think Thursday will be okay. Other than going to the gym, I don't think I have anything going on Thursdays. But that being said, I will go ahead and check in with you once I'm around the 50-page mark. I think that'll be a little bit before the 200-page mark because this book, I think, is a little under 400 pages. So good night, and I will talk to you later.
What's mine, what's mine? I lay awake in the night time, slowly losing my mind, waiting for the sunrise. I know I'll go, turn into a no-show. I'm nothing but a photo, you can call me John Doe. When the nights got me waking up alone, cold heart, but my head a firestorm. Wearing jewels like I'm sitting on a throne. Nothing but a broke boy covered up in chrome. Nothing but a big ploy hitting on my head. Now that I am unemployed, I can't leave my bed. Hoping for some big dreams, but I know they're dead. Trying to shoot my shot, now my body full of lead. Demons in my soul while I'm losing all control. And I'm never going home, yeah. Never gonna be.
All right, hello. I just got done at the gym, and so I'm updating you in my car because I have a feeling that by the time I go home, shower, eat dinner, I will be too brain dead to give you an update. So here we go. I am on page 201, so I am a little bit over 50% through this book, and I am very happy to say that I am still enjoying it. In fact, it's kind of getting hard to put down because I'm very invested in these characters and their relationship. I have to admit, I am a little bit more invested in Nesto's food truck than I am in Jude's library bus, I guess you would call it. But I will say the food truck is definitely a bigger part of the story, and at this part, by the 50% mark, I would say that the kind of library bus has been somewhat resolved, at least for the moment, and a lot more of the drama that is happening with this Karen woman that I mentioned is revolving around the food truck. And that is definitely like what's interesting me the most, because I am just so invested in him succeeding. I'm so invested in these people like coming together to support him, and hopefully by the end of this book seeing her get what she deserves, because she is definitely a bigot. She is definitely very racist. Do not like her at all, so definitely looking forward to her getting what's coming her way. As far as the romance goes, it's definitely like a slow burn romance. Both of them have had a lot going on in their professional lives, but at the same time, they have been spending a lot of time together as friends. You know, Jude seems to have had something in his past that's making him nervous to get into a committed relationship, and Nesto realized that, so he was, you know, really open about the fact that, hey, we can just take this really slow, and that is what they're doing. But it's very clear that the two of them are falling for each other fast and hard. And I always love, I don't know if it would be considered a trope or what it would be considered, but kind of when someone has like a goal that they're trying to achieve and they're like single-mindedly focused on that goal, and then they meet someone that makes them kind of want more than just that goal. They start to think about that person a lot, and they're like, oh, this person's a distraction and everything. But at the same time, they're not like a distraction to the point where this person's like giving up on their dreams or like not pursuing their goals. Like, they're still doing that, but at the same time, you can start to see a little bit of like more balance coming to their life, and they're finding something else that brings them a lot of joy, and they're also finding someone who shares their passion for this goal. And that's exactly what we're getting in this book, where the two of them are just really supportive of each other and what they're trying to accomplish with their professional lives. And at the same time, it's getting more and more clear that the two of them are wanting to invest more and more into their relationship as well. So I am continuing to really enjoy this book. I really like the characters, their relationship. I enjoy the careers that they're in and hearing about them. I enjoy their friend groups and everything. So really, there's no complaints that I can really make about this book at this point. So I'm definitely excited to jump back into it later tonight. And I will go ahead and give you my final thoughts once I finish up this book.
What's mine? What's mine? I lay awake in the night time, slowly losing my mind, waiting for the sunrise. I know I'll go, turn into a no-show. I'm nothing but a photo. You can call me John Doe. I can see me leaving, leave it all behind. Never gonna escape this cold dark mind. Always gonna end up in the grind. I will never look through the pain cause I'm blind. Man, I'm never healing, always on the run. Heart is always beating, hitting like a drum. Drown me in my cup and pour another one, till the only liquid in my body is rum. But I see different kind of road, trying to let you know I'm always feeling low. But I'll be a photo stuck in place. Ain't got no faith to chase, counting all my days. What's mine, what's mine? I lay awake in the night time, slowly losing my mind, waiting for the sunrise. I know I'll go, turn into a no-show. I'm nothing but a photo. You can call me John Doe.
Oh, actually, is that gonna annoy you? Like if it like pops up every once in a while? I think it is. It's gonna annoy me. Okay, let's see. Is that better? The lighting is never good at night when I'm doing this. We're working with what we got. I have finished American Dreamer. Yay! I was definitely hoping that I would finish it before I left this weekend because I didn't want to have to bring 2 books with me. Now I gotta pause the music because I feel like it's getting too loud. Okay. Anyway, I have finished this book and I had a wonderful time. Like literally the end of this book made me so happy. Like my jaw started to hurt because I was smiling so much. It just filled my heart with so much joy. I absolutely adored these 2 characters. I need to read more books with like Spanish speaking love interests because like anytime they were speaking Spanish or like he would use some sort of term of endearment in Spanish, like even if I didn't 100% know what he was saying, I was like, yes, I will take some more of that, please. So I had a wonderful time with this. It got a little bit, I don't want to say darker or anything like that, but Jude has a bit of a difficult past because of his family's religion and the fact that they were unfortunately part of a church that was very against queer people, and he had to leave his family in order to be himself. And throughout this book, something happens where he, in a way, is almost given the opportunity to maybe not fix things with them, but he's kind of hoping that this is an opportunity to kind of resolve some of the cracks. And unfortunately, just because of the way that his family is, while there are improvements with some family members, there are some family members where it's just clear that that relationship is never going to be fixed. And it's obviously very difficult for him to acknowledge the fact that there are people that he loves who are never going to be able to accept this part of him, and that he won't be able to be part of their lives. They don't want him as part of their lives. And you know, it's always really difficult to read people who are going through that, especially as someone who's reading about Jude and falling in love with Jude as a character, and to watch him kind of deal with that pain and seeing him being rejected like that was definitely a little bit heartbreaking for sure. But I'm definitely glad that the author touched on that, because that is unfortunately something that a lot of people within the queer community face, where they unfortunately have to leave their family and find a new family. And that's kind of what Jude was doing throughout the story. And he talked a lot about the work that he has done on himself in the last 3 or 4 years, I think, was when he kind of came out to his family and ended up unfortunately having to leave them. And he was just talking about how he's done so much work on himself so that he could move forward with his life and get the most out of his life and love himself. And it was kind of nice to see a character who had already gone through that process. And while it's definitely important to read stories of people who are going through that for the first time and who are learning to love and accept themselves, our character, he's 30 years old. He spent the last few years, going through these issues and figuring ways to kind of cope with that. And this book kind of shows that there is a healthy way to deal with this, but that doesn't mean that when it happens, it's gonna hurt any less. He might be able to know how to deal with the fact that there are still people in his family who are disgusted by him, but it still fucking hurts. It still hurts. So I really like that aspect of his story. It definitely was kind of the catalyst for the third act breakup, because despite the fact that he's done so much healing, he still has been abandoned by the people he loved the most. And so he gets a little bit nervous about giving his full heart to someone because he knows how much it hurts to have it be broken. And then we have Nesto, who is a bit of a workaholic, and that kind of gets away from him throughout the story. Like, it's great that he has these goals and everything that he wants to accomplish, and eventually those goals are very much tied with Jude, because he's like, I need to be successful so that I have something to offer Jude, that I have a stable life and finances and everything, so that I can provide for him and that I'm not a burden on him, and that I can be like, hey Jude, this is what I can give you and I am worthy of your love. But as he's working so hard to kind of become someone who, like, success-wise and financially is worthy of Jude, he is not giving Jude the time that Jude wants. Jude is like, hey, listen, you want to put your business first. That's okay. I understand that, but I need someone who's willing to make some sacrifices for me, who's willing to spend more time with me. I'm someone who's been hurt in the past, and I just can't have someone who's always willing to choose something else over me. That really hurts me. And so Nesto really needs to set out to prove to Jude that he is a priority. So I thought that the third act breakup, despite the fact that sometimes third act breakups are annoying, because, like, why does it have to happen? It made sense based off of the characters' behavior and their flaws that they're still working on throughout this book and everything. And I really like the way that it was resolved. It was a very sweet ending and a very satisfying ending, and it just made me feel really good. And I felt like throughout this whole story, you could really tell that the author really loved the Caribbean, that she really loved, like, the food and the culture from there, and that she really loved the people from there, and she poured a lot of that love into this story, because it just kind of jumped off of the page, the passion that Nesto had for his friends, from where he's from the food that he's making, and what this food represents to him. And I just really appreciated that aspect of the story. And while it wasn't a big part of the story, obviously it did touch a little bit on a lot of the racism that someone like him faces, and a lot of the obstacles that he has to overcome, and how he has to work harder than a lot of other people, and is often not seen as being worthy of the success that he has, because he is from the Caribbean, because he is a person of color, because he is someone who speaks Spanish, because he is someone who hires people who are not white, things like that. And that is touched on a little bit throughout the story, specifically through the behavior of our Karen character and the way that she responds to his business and almost treating it as like this invasion of their town. And that is unfortunately the way people sometimes respond when people of color start businesses within towns. They don't see it as like a success story. They don't see it as an expansion of the community and the local economy or anything like that. They see it almost as this threat. And he talks a little bit about like the stereotypes and the stigma that comes with people from the Caribbean, even just people of color, and how hard his mother and the mothers of his friends have worked to really instill a sense of pride within them so that their sons feel pride for the Caribbean where they came from, while also having a great love and appreciation for America, and really kind of balancing that aspect of assimilation while also holding on to that culture that is so important to them. So I think that I'm going to go ahead and give this book a solid 4.5 stars. I think there was like a few parts throughout the story where it dragged just a smidge, so the pacing wasn't perfect for me. I feel like I'm really picky with pacing when it comes to romances, especially contemporary romances, because it's so easy for it to become kind of repetitive or to become slightly uninteresting because we're just following people from their day-to-day lives. But overall, I really did love this book and had a really great time with it, and will definitely be continuing the series. I'm trying to think, I feel like my library didn't have all of the books in this series. I think they had at least one more, but there's 4 friends that he has, and I'm assuming each book is going to follow a friend, and we might be missing a couple. So I'll have to see how I get my hands on all of these books, but even if I have to buy them, I love this one so much that I am definitely willing to do that. And the glimpses I've gotten of his friends, I am definitely excited to check out their romances as well. But that being said, it is Friday evening. I don't think I'm going to do any more reading tonight, especially since I'm not 100% sure which book I'm going to start next, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna bring a book down with me because I don't think I'll be doing much reading, because tomorrow my friend's birthday party is happening. It starts at 2, so I'll probably leave the house around 11:30, and then we are going to archery, I believe. I have not done archery since middle school. Like, we did it once in PE and I did not do a good job, so that'll be interesting. And then I do believe we're also doing line dancing, which I've never done either, but obviously it might get a little bit late before I get to the hotel, so I'm not sure if I'll read very much before I go to bed. But I will go ahead and check in with you before I leave so I can give you the synopsis of the audiobook, and by then I should know which physical book I am bringing with me, and can let you know about that as well. But a strong start to the vlog with a 4.5 star rating, and hopefully the other books go as well as this one did. All right, guys, I am here for a really quick sorry, my brain is like, we gotta go. A quick check-in because I am heading out to Portland now. A couple of changes in plan. My audiobook, Nautilus, I believe it was called, I put myself on hold for it like 10 days ago, and it is still on hold. It's a 4-hour audiobook. There's no way that it's taking someone this long to read that book. My guess is they're just not returning it early, which kind of sucks that they're doing that. But that does mean I am not going to be listening to the audiobook on the way down. Maybe it'll show up sometime tonight and I can listen to it on the way back. If not, I will just have to wait. However, for the physical book, I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and pick up I Think They Love You by Julian Winters. Me and a friend are going to be kind of casually buddy reading this. We're not going to do like a specific amount of pages or anything since I'm reading this for a vlog. And we got stuff going on in our life, so buddy reading can be a little difficult. However, this is the next book that I am going to be checking out. This is an author I have heard of and have come across a few of his books. However, I have never picked them up because I have admittedly not heard the greatest things about it, but I am going into this with an open mind. This one I think has been doing a little bit better. At least I've seen it doing the rounds a little bit more than some of his other books. This is a contemporary romance, and it kind of seems like it is a second chance romance because we have a character whose father is looking to retire, and he kind of tells his father that he's in a committed relationship so that his father thinks he's a little bit more stable. I don't know, for the position. I never get why people tell their parents or grandparents that they're in a relationship to make them think that they're more qualified for some sort of job. I don't know what someone's relationship status has to do with that, but what can I say? It's one of the staples in the fake dating trope world. On the other hand, the other character kind of agrees to fake date because the other character has a connection to the mayor, and he also needs a connection to the mayor for promotional opportunities. So it seems like the two of them are definitely hooking up for career reasons, but my guess is the two of them will go ahead and fall in love again, because I mentioned that one of them had broken the other's heart at some point. So I don't think I'll be doing a lot of reading today or anything like that because I'll be driving and then hanging out with my friend. She's got a few things going on for her birthday, and so I might read like a chapter or two before I go to bed. So chances are I will probably check in with you once I come back home. I just wanted to go ahead and let you know which book I will be bringing with me, and I got to skedoodle. I have a 2-hour drive ahead of me in the rain. Unfortunately, this whole weekend is going to be raining, which is a bit of a bummer, but I will bring a rain jacket and an umbrella.
I can't get enough. No, I can't get enough. I'm falling in love. You're all I'm thinking of. Taking my time, messing my life, swear I don't mind. Say that you'll stay holding me close, swear it's alright. Yeah. Baby, I feel the rush. Everything that you touch turns to gold. I know. Baby, I'm missing you. Everything that you do makes me love you. Oh. Tell me everything. You know I'm listening. Hours pass us by. Yeah, we could talk all night. Taking my time, messing my life, swear I don't mind. Say that you'll stay holding me close, swear it's alright. Baby, I feel the rush. Everything that you touch turns to gold. I know. Baby, I'm missing you. Everything that you do makes me love you. Babe, I feel the rush. Everything you touch. Babe, I'm missing you. Everything you do. Baby, I feel the rush. Everything that you touch turns to gold. I know. Baby, I'm missing you. Everything that you do makes me love you.
Guten Morgen, Leute. We are here in Portland. This is my hotel room for the night. Really small room. I always book whatever's cheapest, yet in the safest area, or what I assume is a safe area. There were some people yelling outside that woke me up at like a little after 5 because this is a really old building. Like, this has been a hotel for like over 100 years, which in America is a long time, especially here on the West Coast. And the walls are not very thick, so I would hear street noise a lot, which woke me up a couple times. But otherwise, I slept pretty comfortably. Temperature was good, bed was comfortable, had plenty of pillow options, which is always good. The last time I went to a hotel, they only had one pillow option, and it was the wrong option. So I had a good sleep. I've been up for a while now. I've been doing a little bit of reading as well as watching some YouTube videos, just chilling because I'm meeting my friend at 10:30 for brunch. But I wanted to go ahead and do my initial update because I have reached page 50. I'm actually on page 63 of I Think They Love You. I know the last update I did of this, well, not an update, but as I introduced this as the next book, I was kind of like in and out really quick because I was skedoodling out of the house to go to my friend's birthday, which didn't quite go as planned, but we still had a great time. There was a lot of people who canceled like last minute, which was a bit of a bummer, to be honest. But it is Super Bowl weekend, so I think a lot of people kind of like said they would come and then other things happened. And me and her other friend Parker were there, and we were actually the people who were coming from like farthest away. So she was really happy that we were there because she gets to see us less than the other people, and we had a good time. We did archery, which I did okay at. You know, by the time we finished, I was like, I kind of know what I'm doing now. You know, I'm ready for the Hunger Games, Katniss. I'm coming for you. I'm the next archery girl, you know? I was like, I'm ready for the apocalypse. I'm gonna go hunt some deer or elk or whatever people hunt with bows. But it was a really fun time. We just hung out. We didn't end up going dancing, which is fine by me. You know, I enjoy dancing every once in a while, but it's not like my favorite thing. And when I do it, I suck at it. So I didn't have to embarrass myself last night. But that being said, let me get back to the book. I don't know how I got on that tangent, but I did. I'm having a really good time with it. I'm really enjoying this. This has made me laugh out loud a few times, which was rather surprising. I didn't go into this thinking it would be that humorous, but I'm really quite enjoying the character and the writing style. And we are following from Denz's point of view, and he is the son of the man who's going into retirement. He is part of like this wealthy family that has kind of built themselves up as, what are they even called? They're like not entertainment, but like event planning. That's essentially like what they do. His father was really known for planning the best parties in college, and he kind of turned it into a career and essentially an empire. And at this point he's like, hey guys, I'm retiring. And our character Denz and his older sister are working for the company. A lot of family members are working for the company, but their father lets them know, if I can't find someone who I think can run this business within the family, I will be looking elsewhere. And so the family's like, whoa, dude's serious, like we better lock in and see if we can do this. And initially Denz wasn't going to apply to be CEO because he does a lot of their social media stuff. Essentially, they didn't have much of a social media presence before he came on, and that wasn't really his job, but it was something he enjoyed doing. So he's like, I'm just gonna fix up our social media a little, and he's done such a good job at it that that's now essentially his job title. And at first he wasn't gonna go for CEO. He's like, I haven't been here as long, and you know, being CEO isn't really like within my repertoire of things that I can do. But then other people started to be like, yeah, it's a good thing you didn't try for CEO because you're just like not really ready to do something like that. And he's like, oh, shots have been fired and I will be responding to that. And then they're like, no, you're not serious enough. You haven't been in a committed relationship for years. And like, so the amount of pressure that people put on relationships in books sometimes, where they're like, you're not in a healthy committed relationship, so you have to be irresponsible. You have to be a flake. You have to be not worthy of any sort of responsibility. And I'm like, dude's single. Okay, so what? He's got other things going on. But because they kept saying that as like a example of why he couldn't be CEO, he's like, yeah, no, I'm actually in a secret relationship. Super committed. We're in love. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna meet this guy. And he's like, yeah, you are. Yeah. And initially he was actually gonna have someone else be his secret boyfriend, his fake secret boyfriend, but that person kind of didn't show up when they were supposed to meet his parents. And lo and behold, his ex shows up and is like, hey dude, funny running into you here. I have a favor to ask. And Denz is like, I will do that favor for you if you do this favor for me and pretend to be my boyfriend. Again. So that's kind of how we got into this whole situation. At the point I am at, they have just for the first time kind of come out as being fake boyfriends. They have a bit of an uphill battle because they used to date. They dated in college. I think they dated for like 3-4 years. They were really serious. And then, what was his name? I'm already forgetting people's names. Denz and where is your name, sir? Braylon. Braylon ends up taking a job in London and he breaks up with Denz to go take care of his career, essentially. And Denz was absolutely heartbroken that he was left behind and he cried to his family about it. And of course, now his whole family hates Braylon because Braylon went to London and broke their family member's heart. And now all of a sudden he's like, I'm back, bitches. And they're like, So it's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be some drama. I am really excited to continue this story. I can definitely feel the chemistry between the two characters. Like, even from the couple flashbacks we had when they were still in their relationship, you could just really tell that they really cared for each other, really knew each other on a really deep and personal level. And now that they're coming back together and there's like all this tension and everything where they're like, Denz is like, I'm mad at you, but like, damn, you look good. Like, your biceps are really popping these days. Like, he can't help it. He just looks good. And I'm just really enjoying the vibe of the story so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue this. I am pleasantly surprised. I should know better than to put too much trust in Goodreads ratings, especially when it comes to books by POC authors, because I know not to do that when it comes to horror, but I guess with romance, I haven't learned my lesson yet. So I'm really enjoying this author so far, and hopefully I continue to enjoy the book and then maybe enjoy his backlog as well. That would be exciting for me. But I need to find an ATM because I need to leave a tip for my lovely hotel cleaners, and I don't have cash. Like, I never carry cash. I technically have a little bit of cash at home that I have just in case we go somewhere that needs cash, and I completely blanked that I would need cash for the hotel cleaning crew. And they left like this cute little card. They're like, hey, I'm gonna be cleaning your room. Glad you're here. And I'm like, oh my God, girl, I'm gonna get you your money. So I need to see if they have an ATM. If not, I'm gonna just cry a little bit. And then I need to put myself on the wait list for the brunch place we want to go. And then hopefully around 10:30 we will be eating because I ate a granola bar this morning. But your girl's starting to get a little hungry. And I was about to check my phone for what time it is, but you are on the phone. But I think it is around 9 o'clock. So we still have a little time before we start eating and then hopefully doing a lot of book shopping. And yeah, that is the update for now. I haven't checked my Libby account, but the probability of my audiobook coming in is probably pretty low. So I don't know, maybe this evening I will be checking in with you guys saying, surprise, I started that. but probably not. So I will probably check in with you next time once I am closer to 50% through this book. I will see you next time.
I'm still in love with my ex and it's just my luck. Wish I didn't care so much, cause me and her don't make sense and it fucks me up. I'm still in love but love sucks. Before you and I, what was hers was mine. And I'm sorry, I swear I thought that my heart was ready, but I can't keep her off my mind. And I'm not alright. Had a thought when I was faded, why they call it love when you hate it. I'm still in love with my ex and it's just my luck. Wish I didn't care so much, cause me and her don't make sense and it bugs me up. I'm still in love but love sucks. Love sucks. Love sucks. Let me lay you in inside my brain, cause I don't really have the heart to say. Take a look in there, tell me if it's anything you wanna fuck with. Probably not, honestly you'll never take a place. When I look at you I see your face. Yeah, 6 a.m. we're taking shots in the morning up on the counter. Like oh my god, had a thought when I was faded, why they call it love when you hate it. I'm still in love with my ex and it's just my luck. Wish I didn't care.
All right, Tofu Butt, are we gonna do a little update? We're gonna do a little update. How's our hair looking? Looking like I was in the rain most of the day. All right, so I am home, as you can see, and Tofu Butt is very happy to have me back. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not. I don't really care. But I had a really great day in Portland with my friend, and I do have a bit of a book haul for you. Of course, because when do I not when I come back from Portland? Tofu might start yelling at me to let him out, but we're just gonna ignore him for a little bit. He can hang out with me for a little bit. Yeah, look at yourself in the mirror. What's that? It's you. So I got rained on today. And so I drove home with wet feet, wet socks, wet shoes, bottom of my jeans wet. So when I got home, I jumped under the shower and now I am snug as a bug in my robe and I am ready to chill for the rest of Sunday and then back to work tomorrow. I don't have a book update for you because my hold for my audiobook did not magically come in. It did not happen. So let's go ahead and do the book haul portion. So every time I see my friend, she has some books for me. Love having a friend that doesn't hoard books. So let's see. Also got me some stickers since I'm journaling now. I will be using that as an excuse to start collecting stickers as well. All right, so first we have a couple of books by Cole McCade. If you are familiar with my channel, you know I was reading the Criminal Intention series and I absolutely adored it. I have also read the Undue Arrogance. That's the name that's coming to my head. Is that what the series is called? It's like His Cocky Valet. I know you want to be let out, but mommy's busy right now. Anyway, those books, and these are some more of his. I think these are the ones that were traditionally published because I think I've seen these at the bookstore before, and I have no idea what these are about. None, but it's Cole McCade, so I am going to be reading them eventually. We also have Well Read Black Girl, which I'm trying to decide, was this a nonfiction? We have original essays by some of the best Black women writers to shine a light on how important it is that we all, regardless of gender, race, religion, or ability, have the opportunity to find ourselves in literature. It seems like a relatively good quality book. Oh, I wonder if it has like little pictures of the authors. Let me go to the front. Yeah, has like little pictures of the authors there. That's cool. So we have that one. And then voila, I finally own the 5th season because I own the 2nd and 3rd book in the series, but I just never got around to getting this one. The other ones I just happened to find used. So I can now start this series. I have no excuse, except for the fact that I said I wanted to reread the Dream Blood duology before I started this. And I still want to do that, but technically I don't have like that good of an excuse not to be reading this series. And I do love me some N.K. Jemisin. And then we have this big old bag of books. So we went to a couple of bookstores. We went to Powell's, but not their big one. I didn't even know they had a smaller one, but they did. So I think I got one book there. And then there was another bookstore that we went to. Let me see if they gave me like a little bookmark kind of situation. I know which book I got there. I just need to find it in my big bag of books. My big bag of books. Where are you, girl? Oh, you're right here at the top, and I've been digging around for no reason. Okay. Literary Arts on Grand Avenue. So that was one of the stores we went to, and I got one book from there, and that is The King Must Die by Kemi Ashing-Gawa. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. This book sounded interesting to me, and my friend informed me that it is a standalone, and we like a standalone fantasy because then we don't have to like commit to a series. And I did check, my library doesn't have this, so I decided to go ahead and pick it up. There was something about it that just captured my attention. It seems we are following a young woman whose family tried to bring about a rebellion. It seems that their planet was terraformed by an alien race, and it kind of was a failed terraform situation, so things are not looking that great. And so her fathers tried to rebel, and they were punished for that and thrown into prison, and she was kind of forced to serve someone of this alien race. However, her fathers, I believe, end up getting executed. Yes, so her fathers are unfortunately executed, and she flees, and she ends up, I think, kind of joining this other rebellion, but they are also rather dangerous. And then not only is she stumbling across this dangerous rebellion group, but she also stumbles across the heir to whatever group is in power here, and she decides to start working with him, even though she doesn't trust him, because she feels like she will do just about anything to protect her home. So sounds interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and check that out and hopefully enjoy it. Then the one book that I got from Powell's is going to be the world's heaviest book. Like, honestly, this book, I don't know what they made this out of. Like, might as well have chiseled it into stone tablets. But this is Johnny Garza Villa's most recent book, I'm assuming. This is called You know what? What is this called? Futbolista. Guys, I can't pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Futbolista. That is what this is this is called. And this is a young adult story. I read Onder and Santi Were Here. I didn't look over at what the title was and gave it 5 stars. So I am excited to check out some more of this author's work. This seems to follow 2 college students who are playing football, as in soccer, you know, what the majority of the world sees as football, not American football, football. And I believe one of them is like the star player. He's gonna go pro, and he is straight. He's like, I'm a straight man. However, he ends up getting tutored by this friend that he may have kissed once casually. And it seems that as the 2 of them are getting closer, he's just coming to terms with his sexuality and romance. What can I say? I'm totally here for it. I love it. I'm not sure if this is going to be new adult or if it's going to be young adult since they're in college. I want to say I found this. Where did I find this? In the young adult section? I don't even remember, but we're going to read it. And that's what's important. Where am I putting the books I've talked about? Here we go. Now, the rest of these are all from Barnes & Noble because apparently there's a Barnes & Noble that's not like an outlet, but I guess kind of. And everything is 50% off there. So it's practically like half price books, except all the books are new. Unfortunately, it's located in the mall that's going to be shut down. So good for my wallet that I can't go back there, but also a bit of a bummer. I did get one book that I have read before, and that is Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. I really love this book. I've read all 3 books in this series, and I actually own the second one because this summer when I went to Portland's book festival, Anita was there and was signing books, but she only had the second book in this series and was signing those, and I was like, I really need to get the first one because that one is my favorite. So I went ahead and grabbed this. This is a contemporary romance featuring a non-binary character. It takes place on like a cooking show similar to Chopped, and I loved it. And London is one of my favorite love interests. They are pretty much like one of the sexiest that I've read about, and I think about them a little bit more than other love interests. So I decided I wanted this on my shelf, and considering all the books at that Barnes & Noble were like 50% off, I said yes, please. By the way, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books at that Barnes & Noble, and it was less than $60, which is crazy, especially considering this one book was $20. Of course, this was from an indie bookstore, so we love to support them. But I'm just saying, that many books for less than $60? Don't mind if I do. Up next, we have a book by Alyssa Cole. Now, I have really enjoyed Alyssa Cole's horror, like When No One Is Watching, and what is the second one that she wrote? I'm forgetting the name of it, but she had another one. I think I've read one of her romances and I didn't love it. However, I don't want to say like, oh, I don't like her romance and I'm only going to read her horror. So I decided to go ahead and pick up a historical romance by her. Unfortunately not queer. It seems we're following a Cuban woman who is rather wealthy. However, because they are still people of color living in America, I believe in Florida for some reason. I think they're in Florida. And her father ends up getting imprisoned, and there's kind of like this rebellion that's building. And so in order to save her father, she says she will infiltrate this rebellion, and that's where she meets this guy. And I have a feeling that she's not going to help take down this rebellion because that would be a very bad story if she did. Seeing as that rebellion is going against slavery, and we do prefer no slavery. Up next, we have This Is My America by Kim Johnson. This book follows a girl who is constantly writing to this organization known as Innocence X, and her father is on death row, and she believes he's innocent and would like their help to prove that because his time to live, his execution, is fast approaching. However, then one day her older brother ends up getting arrested for the murder of a white girl, and she's like, listen, this is just too much. Like, you guys are clearly trying to pin crimes onto my family because we are people of color. And so she starts looking into that and just digging up a lot of bad stuff, which is not surprising, but she is out here fighting for her family's innocence. So this is a book that's intrigued me for a while, so I went ahead and snatched it up. Up next, seeing as it's 50% off, it's a good time to pick up a shorter book. We have The Dead Cat Tail Assassin by P. Jelly Clark. I did read Ring Shout in December and really enjoyed it, so I knew that I wanted to pick up his other short book soon. And I'm not 100% sure what this is about, but I think it's a little bit more fantasy based. Every time I see this, I think it's like a superhero book, you know, like Batman's gonna show up, Batman and Catwoman or something. I have to admit, even after reading that synopsis, I'm still not really sure what it's about, but that's okay. I've heard good things about it, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it. And then we have another queer book that I have been seeing and considering buying for a while, so 50% off. I said yes. And that is going to be The Prospects by K.T. Hoffman. This, I do believe, has a trans representation in it and has a obviously queer relationship, sports romance, contemporary romance. That's all I know about it. Up next, we have Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is a book that I've been wanting to read for a while. I was going back and forth on if I wanted to read the novelized version or the graphic version, and this store technically had both of them, but then I kind of flipped through the novelized version and realized it was in verse, and I don't really like books in verse, so I decided to go with the graphic novel version of it. And this is just a book that I've heard really good things about. I believe that this young man's brother might have been killed by the police, and he like grabs a gun, gets into the elevator to do something irreversible, and like on every floor that he goes down, he meets someone that tells him something important, essentially. So I'm really excited to check this out. Hopefully I can check it out soon. I'm glad to have it in my hands. 2 more books. First we have, oh my gosh, I was so excited when I saw this book because I saw it and it was still in the hardback. Like, I have been wanting to get this book for so long, but it is a young adult hardback, and sometimes their hardbacks have these like really shiny, like not very well fitted jackets, and that was the case with this book. So I'm like, I'm not getting the hardback. I want the paperback. Even if it's 50% off, I want the paperback. And they had 1 paperback, all the rest were hardback. So I was so excited. This is a book by an Indigenous author, and it is a young adult horror book. And I don't even remember what it's about at this time. I'm just excited to read it. So, okay, so it seems like we have a young girl who is new to town. She isn't really fitting in, and she ends up going on a little bit of a retreat with some of the other people in her class. And she kind of is like, oh, this is really great. We're a couple of other outsiders. We're all becoming friends. We're getting along really well. And everything seems really good until one of the girls ends up dying. And obviously all the others that were there are suspects, but they're all like, we didn't do it. And so they decide to kind of take it onto themselves to figure out what happened to this girl. So I'm quite intrigued by it because despite the fact that they're all working together, there is still a possibility that one of them might have been the murderer. So considered me tickled. And then the final one, they had a teeny tiny horror section. Like, it was so small. I was like, oh, okay. Like, literally just like 1 bookcase. And this was a relatively big store. Everything else was mystery thriller. But I did find one that I have been wanting to get for a while. Another small one, so getting it half price. And that is The Law of the Skies by Gregory Kurtos. I apologize if I mispronounced that. This is a translated work. And where is this man from? How is it translated from? French. So this was originally in French, and this is a horror book. And I'm thinking that based off of the title, it's supposed to be kind of Lord of the Flies. Now, I did not love the book Lord of the Flies or anything like that, but I have heard that this has really beautiful writing and that it is also a very horrifying story. We are following a group of young children, like elementary school, and they and their teachers head into the woods for a field trip, and none of them come out. Like, I don't think any of them survive. So we're essentially watching this entire group of people, primarily children, get killed. How does the author do it in a beautiful way? I don't know. I guess The French just manage it somehow. So those are all of the books that I have hauled. There are a lot of them, but that's okay. And I am going to go ahead and relax a little bit for the evening. It's about 7:30, so I still have some time before I need to get to bed. And I will check in with you once I have a update on my book. Hello! I am here for my 50% update for I Think They Love You. I am on page 167, and I am happy to report that I am continuing to enjoy this book. This vlog is going a lot better than my January vlog, and I'm very happy about that. So I am really enjoying like the tension between these characters. Like every time the two of them are interacting, there's just something about their interactions where I'm like locked in. I am invested. I'm like, I see it. I see what's going on between the two of you. I see that the two of you are definitely not over each other, that you are very happy, that you're reunited, and that you guys are just falling back in love, whether or not you think that's what you should be doing. And I just love two people that are just clearly meant to be together. And we just had our first scene that was a little bit spicy, and it was relatively well written. Like it was really hot. I was like, oh, this is really well written. Like I really need to check out other books by this author, because I keep saying like I never wanted to pick up any of his stuff because I feel like it had relatively low ratings. But now I'm like, I feel like I need to take another look, because I know some of his stuff is young adult and some of it is adult. So what I'm saying is I'm really enjoying his characters, the way that he's building the relationship, the dynamics that different characters have with each other, even like the dynamics that Denz has with like some of the side characters, especially his sister. Like that's a really complicated relationship that I'm looking forward to kind of digging into a little bit more. And I am really enjoying the writing. It's constantly having me laughing. I feel like he has such a fun and unique way of writing things that just adds like a little unique twist to the story, where you don't feel like you're just reading the same contemporary book with the same cheesy lines that you have read 1,000 times. So I'm really enjoying his writing. And so the relationship aspect of the story is going really well. I'm really enjoying that part of the story. As far as the whole like trying to become CEO kind of situation, that whole battle, I mean, it's kind of hard. I have mixed feelings on it. I have mixed feelings about his family, Denz's family in general, because they are a family that's very much in the spotlight. They're first generation wealth. They are obviously people of color as well, so they face a lot more scrutiny than like white wealthy people would, because that's just how our shitty world works. And so there's a part of me that like understands the way that they operate and the reasoning for why they are so almost like controlling when it comes to controlling the narrative of everyone in the family's lives. But at the same time, it's really difficult to see someone kind of allow the opinions of the outside to impact the relationship dynamics within their family so much, and in what I would say is a relatively negative way. Like I would say there's definitely quite a bit of toxic behavior where you could tell like they all love and care for each other, but the way that they show it is not what you would want to see in your family. Like the way that Denz is spoken to by like especially his aunts, like no one would want to be spoken to that way. And so it is a little sad to see that they are doing what they think is best for the business and trying to kind of mold him into the best version of himself, or at least what would look the best from outside opinions, instead of really like trying to see like what he as an individual wants. They very much treat everyone as like a face of the company more so than as like an individual human being. And that makes me not like the family as much because it's kind of a toxic situation, but I'm hoping that that issue is going to be resolved throughout this story. I would say that when it comes to Den's wanting to be CEO, it's something he's questioning, like his motives. And so we're questioning his motives as well. We're not really certain like why he's doing this. We don't really know what he really wants, but it's kind of clear that the position of CEO isn't really it. So I'll be interested to see if through these conversations that he has with Braylon, if he's going to learn a little bit more about what he wants, because obviously he grew up with this company and has been telling himself his whole life that this is what he wants, but he's kind of coming to the point that now he's in it. He's like, is it? Maybe not. So I'm hoping that with Braylon on his side to kind of have these difficult conversations with, because obviously it's probably hard for him to have it with someone within the family. So for him to have this outside perspective to turn to when it comes to like what he wants out of life, and even if he does stay with the company, like what he wants the company to be, even if it's different than what his father made it, I think they would have some interesting conversations about that. So hopefully they have those, and hopefully things with the family work out and everything. So for the most part, I'm having a really good time with the story, and I'm definitely intrigued to see what we do here in the second half, especially now that this whole fake boyfriend thing is definitely becoming more and more real, and I'm really enjoying seeing the two of them together. I am a little nervous to see what obstacles they're gonna face, because we know a romance is probably gonna have some sort of third act breakup, and I'm like, what's it gonna be? But I am enjoying the fact that the two of them are definitely opening up to each other a little bit more. One thing I will say that I've complained about in the past that doesn't apply to this book is that I usually prefer multi-POVs with romance novels. Like I usually like to see the points of view of each individual within the relationship. In this book, we only get Denz's point of view, and I actually don't mind that for some reason. I think sometimes when we only get one POV, I feel like the author is trying to keep something from us, and they know that if they give us the other POV, that whole mystery of how that person is feeling is gonna be gone. And so it feels like a cheap and lazy way to keep some sort of mystique within the story. But in this book, I feel like Braylon is being very open every time he is with Denz, and they're having these deeper conversations and everything. And so I feel like we're not being purposefully left in the dark. I feel like we're hearing things from Denz's point of view because there's just kind of more going on in his life. So we definitely need to spend some more time on his side of the story, because this whole CEO business is a big catalyst for what is happening. And I feel like we are getting to know enough about their relationship and about Balin through Denz's point of view, where hearing Balin's point of view doesn't feel necessary. Like I feel like I'm not missing anything by not having his point of view. So I feel like there's not a lot of authors that are able to just give me one point of view and for me to feel like I'm getting enough of both people in the relationship. But Julian is managing to do that for me, so I'm not missing that second point of view. So that is my halfway point update. I'm having a wonderful time, really enjoying the romance and everything about the story. And I will probably check in with you once I have finished this book. I don't know when that will be. I feel like I'm reading it at a relatively good pace. I just don't have the most time to be reading these days because life is a little busy. I wish it wasn't. But it is. But I will go ahead and check in with you probably in a few days once I finish this book. It is past my bedtime, but we're gonna go ahead and do an update because I have just finished I Think They Love You by Julian Winters. Let's see. I know I just finished it like 2 seconds ago, but I do think that I'm gonna go ahead and give this book a solid 4 stars. I will say that unfortunately the second half, I still liked it, but I didn't like it as much as the first half. Like the first half definitely had me thinking it was going to be a 4.5 or maybe even a 5-star read. But then the second half dragged out a little bit for me. I still continue to enjoy their relationship. However, as it's fake dating, it has kind of that same pattern that you often see in fake dating where the person is clearly starting to develop feelings and there is so much happening that makes it obvious that the other person cares for them as well and that this is so much more than a fake relationship. But our character is always just like, but it's fake, it's not real. Yep, none of this is real. We're not actually dating. We don't actually care about each other this much. And you're like, can we just like take a look around and be like, oh, this is the real world. This is the reality I'm living in. So, I mean, it gets a little bit frustrating when those thoughts are constantly being had for like the majority of the book. Like I get having it in the beginning or so, but once we cross the 50% mark, the characters have been fake dating for over 100 pages. We need to be moving on to other things. I will also say that there were some things that were touched on in this book that I would have liked to dive a little deeper into. And I get it. This is a contemporary romance. It's not a literary fiction. It's there for the romance with little hints of commentary, little hints of, you know, outside drama and everything like that. They're not supposed to be the focus of the story, but I can't help it. I can't help it. Sometimes if I, see things that interest me, I want to hear more about them. And the two things that mostly stood out to me, one was his relationship with his sister. Essentially, he is in what is essentially a competition with her to become CEO of this company. And the two of them have always been really close. And this puts a little bit of strain on their relationship for sure. And I feel like the two of them, the discussion that they had where they were kind of like, I guess in a way, kind of apologizing to each other, and especially him apologizing to her for the way that they've kind of been treating each other for the last few weeks, was a little bit underwhelming. I think that it definitely could have gone a little bit deeper, especially since his relationship with his sister clearly meant so much to him. I thought it felt a little bit flat. So that was one thing that I could have used a little bit more of. The other was we would occasionally touch on the commentary of the fact that we are following a wealthy, successful family that is Black. And so obviously they are being faced with a lot more criticism, are expected to go above and beyond what you would expect from your average white man. And, that obviously puts a lot of pressure on everyone as individuals, but also them as a business. And I feel like we would touch on it in these like little moments, and especially like the conversations that he had with his dad and how this has impacted his dad for his whole life and everything. I feel like we could have discussed that a little bit more, because that was something that was impacting so many people's behaviors and decisions, even if it was subconscious. Like, it had an impact on pretty much everything that this family was doing. And so I felt like not enough time was given to what was such a unfortunate but important aspect of their lives. So that was the second thing that I wished had gone a little bit better. But other than that, I continued to really enjoy the writing. I thought the smut scenes were really well done. I really enjoyed those. I continued to enjoy the romance and the tension. It was really sweet. I thought it was a really sweet romance. It made me giddy. It made me happy. I can't decide if I am happy with the way that it ended. I think I was kind of building like different scenarios in my head, and while to a degree I am kind of satisfied with what happened and I kind of see why the author did it, there was like one aspect regarding the characters' career choices that I don't want to say bummed about. But I guess I just was a little bit disappointed by the decisions that he made regarding his career and everything. But on the relationship side, I think that I really enjoyed it. So 4 stars, solid 4 stars. Will definitely be reading other books by this author. I know the next book seems to be kind of like a friends to lovers situation, following 2 of the side characters in here. So I'll definitely be checking that out. But this was a good time. Definitely recommend it. And I am going to go ahead and get ready for bed because I am super sleepy. So I will go ahead and check in with you tomorrow once I start the next book, because it's over there and I'm too lazy to get up and get it right now because I just want to go to sleep. Or should I just do it now? Here we are. Okay, so we have If You Love Something by Jace Ellis. JC Ellis. I still have not looked up this author's name. So this is a story about 2 men who are technically still legally married, but they are separated. And our main character is a chef and he's having a lot of success in his career. However, he gets a note from his grandmother that she has been diagnosed with cancer. It's terminal. She's not seeking treatment. So essentially, her life is coming to an end. And she is planning on willing her portion of the estate to his ex-husband. And someone of the family is looking to contest the will so that his ex-husband would not be getting the estate. And it seems that the two of them are on good enough terms where he then goes to kind of like pretend like their marriage is strong and everything still, so that they have less reason to contest the will, so that he can go ahead and have it. And my guess is that as they are pretending to still be a happily married couple, they once again become a happily married couple. I am excited to start on this. We'll probably get some family drama, probably some grief as well. It's just over 300 pages, so hopefully it doesn't take me too long to read, because today is already the 11th of the month. I also want to point out that I did check this morning to see if my audiobook was available yet, and it's not. It's not. I would like to call the library and be like, hello, can you give me the name and address of the person who currently has this book checked out? I just want to talk. It's a 4-hour audiobook. You know what? As someone who took all 21 days to listen to The Ballad of Black Tom, which is about 4 hours as well, I actually need to just shut up. I'm being a hypocrite. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, get ready for bed, and then tomorrow I will start this book, and I will check in with you once I'm 50 pages in. I do have a hair appointment tomorrow. Hurrah, because my hair is, she's looking rough. She's looking a little rough. I'm not doing anything dramatic. I'm just getting it cleaned up. I've been going back and forth on every, few years or so, I like chop it off. But for now, I'm still down with the long hair. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. But I will see you later. All right, everyone. I am determined to do this update outside because it is sunny, even though it is a little chilly. So I am snuggled up, but I'm here to give you my first update for If You Love Something. Now, I am not 50 pages into this. I'm only 34 pages into it, but I feel like this is a good time to go ahead and do an initial check-in, because I've read the first 2 chapters and have heard from both of our characters, because it is going to be a multiple POV story, which I am excited by, because usually I do prefer that when it comes to romance. Now, I'm going to be totally honest, the sun is like going right into my eyeball, so I hope everything looks okay, because I'm actually standing here like pretty much blind. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So in this book, we are following Deshawn and Malik, and this is essentially a second chance romance. These two were married and got divorced, and at this point it has been a little over 7 years since they got divorced, and Deshawn is doing really well in his career as a chef. He's like a executive chef, I think, essentially at I'm assuming a Michelin star restaurant, or at the very least a very popular restaurant. And he's actually not in the kitchen that often nowadays, because sometimes as you move up in the company, you have less to do with the actual work and more to do with like managing and coming up with new ideas. Like he does like the menus, and he also like is kind of the face of the kitchen. Like he'll meet with the patrons and things like that. So he is really happy with where he is, despite the fact that he does sometimes miss being in the kitchen. But for the most part, he seems pretty satisfied with life. And at the beginning, he gets a call from his grandmother's best friend. She's like, hey, your grandmother really needs to speak to you. Can you drive down and come see her? And he's like, yep, no, I'm on my way. He loves his grandmother. He was raised by her because I believe his mother died while giving birth to him, so he was always raised by his grandmother, has a very close relationship with her. And when he shows up, she informs him that the cancer she had 10 years ago has returned, metastasized, and she's not seeking treatment. So essentially, she is preparing for death, and he's obviously very devastated by this. And she informs him that for her will, she has gone ahead and updated it, and she's going to go ahead and give him the house, which he's, really excited about. This is the home he grew up in, and it's a really special place to him. And he kind of assumes that she's going to go ahead and give the money, the assets, the blah blah blah, whatever else there is outside of a house to give someone when you pass away, to his uncle, her son. I believe his name is Robert. And she's like, no, I'm cutting him out. And he's like, oop, you're cutting him out? Like, that's not gonna go over well, because this man is money hungry, and he knows how to spend a lot of money, and he knows how to spend it irresponsibly. And she's like, I'm actually gonna go ahead and give it all to Malik. And he's like, my ex-husband Malik. And she's like, yes. And he's like, okay, yeah. And she's like, so you remember how you guys got divorced? And he was like, yeah, we got divorced 7 years, 3 months, and 18 days ago. And I was like, years, months, and days of how long it's been since you guys got a divorce? Like, he's not over it. He's not over this man. Let me tell you that right now. That was all I needed to hear. I was like, I see you. You're not over this man whatsoever. And she's like, yeah. So that divorce actually was never finalized. And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, you're not actually divorced. Apparently there was like some mix up with the paperwork, and they had sent paperwork to their house for a correction to actually finalize the divorce. However, he had already gone to, I believe it was Rome, for a career opportunity, and then his grandfather passed away during that time, so his grandmother was in the process of grieving, and the paper just got lost. So essentially she's like, you need to reach out to Malik, because I know that my son is going to contest this will, and I need you guys to use the fact that you guys aren't legally divorced as, protection against Robert taking what I want to give Malik. And so he's like, yeah, no, okay, I'll reach out to him. And then we have Malik's point of view. And he's also in the restaurant business. However, he's an accountant, and he is the accountant for his family's restaurant, which is not doing well. Their family business is kind of the last one standing in an area that I would argue is being kind of gentrified. Essentially, it's being turned into a very business-forward area, meaning that a lot of the people who are there for work. It's not really like a neighborhood anymore. And so the fact that they're a family sit-down restaurant just isn't really working for the environment that they're in. And he is trying to convince his younger brother, who's technically the current CEO of their little restaurant, to make certain changes, but his brother is just not having it, which I found very frustrating. I felt like the changes that Malik was offering for them to make made a lot of sense, but his brother was just like, no, I don't want to do that. And his brother turns on the Food Network, and there's Deshaun like on the TV, and he's like, we need to get someone like him to come in. I'm like, I'm sorry, you want a celebrity chef to come in instead of like making some reasonable changes? And of course Malik is like, that's my ex-husband. But for some reason, like, his family doesn't know that he was ever married to Deshaun. Like, I don't even know. Apparently, he was not out at the time to his family. I don't know if he's out to his family now, but that was one of the reasons they got a divorce, was because of Deshaun having career opportunities in Europe, as well as Malik not being, like, actually out to his family. But, like, his family has no idea that he was married to Deshaun, and it's very clear that Malik, like, as soon as he sees Deshaun on the TV, he's like, that's my man, I can't look at him anymore. It's clear that both of them just really still care about each other, but Malik is convinced that all of the success that Deshaun has had and everything, he's just really moved on and is in a new stage of his life and everything. And so he doesn't want to like call him up and ask for favors or anything. But Malik does talk to Deshaun's grandmother on the regular, because I believe they kind of grew up in the same area, and They fell in love while they were relatively young, I think. Actually, this has older POVs because Deshawn mentioned that he was 40, so I'm assuming Malik is around the same age. So if you're looking for an older protagonist, this has it in it. But let me just say, from like the beginning of this book, I was like locked in. I was like, yes, I can tell that you guys are so not over each other, that you two are just meant to be together. Grandma knows it. Grandma is like, y'all never should have gotten divorced. Like, she knows what's going on, and I have to say that I am already very excited for these two to see each other, because apparently they haven't seen each other for like since the divorce, so over 7 years. It's gonna be very interesting seeing these two interact for the first time, and I'm really looking forward to it. So very excited to say that even though we're only 34 pages into this book, I am already very invested in the relationship and the characters. So this author has grabbed me very quickly, which is a good sign. So I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick update, let you know that I am optimistic for the story and to kind of lay the foundation of what is going down in this book. So I will check in with you once I am closer to the 50% mark. This is just over 300 pages, so I'll probably check in around 150 pages.
I'm still in love with my ex and it's just my luck. Wish I didn't care so much, cause me and her don't make sense and it bugs me up. I'm still in love but love sucks. Love sucks. And I'm sorry, I swear I thought that my heart was ready, but I can't keep her off my mind. And I'm sorry, you want me, I want her, she don't want me, but I can't keep her off my mind.
Alright, hello everyone. It is I, here for the 50% update. Before I say that, can I be honest? Can I be vulnerable? I don't know if I like the look of a blowout. You know, like you go to the hairdresser and they give you the little blowout and everything. I don't think I like it. I keep fussing with my hair. And last time I got this like exact hairstyle essentially, and I gave like the same reference photo and I really liked it, but I also didn't like love the blowout look. So she was like, do you want to do a blowout? And I'm like, sure. Yeah. And she was so excited because she like got a new blow dryer, and she's like, this is gonna be my first time being able to use this new blow dryer on like such long thick hair as your own, and so it'll be really great to see like how it works and everything. And I'm like, awesome, let's do it. You know, I don't love the look of a blowout. I don't know if it's like what it is, but I am happy with like the actual haircut. My hair feels so much healthier. I was like, how often should I be getting a haircut? And she's like, well, for my low maintenance girlies like you, like every 12 weeks or so. And I was like, oh. See, I thought it was like every 6 months, and I would usually try to push it towards once a year. So we're gonna try and be nicer to her hair because I'm really on like a hair journey to make my hair look nice, especially since I am growing it out. I want to see if I can get it to my waist. Just because I just want to see, and then I'll probably end up chopping most of it off. But I do want it to be like relatively healthy, and especially if I let it grow that long, maybe I'll donate it or something. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out in case you see me like, I feel like I'm gonna be like, what looks good? In my opinion, nothing. But yes, I am 50% through this book. I am on page 154. I was plowing through this book yesterday. Like I started this book yesterday, and I think I read like 130 pages yesterday, which is a lot for me. It's a lot for me. So I have been having a great time with this book. I instantly fell in love with the characters. I was instantly invested in their relationship. This is a second chance romance, and despite the fact that we haven't had like any flashbacks to when they were initially dating and married. I feel like the author has just somehow been able to write the love that these two have for each other, even after all of these years. Like, it is so clear that they are drawn to each other, that they have this deep connection, that they are just meant to be. And, oftentimes, like, when it comes to second chance romances, I'll be like, oh, I feel like we need more flashbacks, or like, I feel like the author is just like expecting us to know that they loved each other at some point, and I don't feel it. But in this book, I 100% feel it. Like, I think these two need to be together. Like, every moment they are interacting with each other, or even just like the way they think about each other, I'm obsessed. Okay. And especially with Deshawn. So Deshawn is the one who is the chef. He is the one who's like super successful and everything like that. And Malik, was the one who requested a divorce because he wasn't ready to come out to his family and he didn't want to hold Deshawn back. But Deshawn, like, he's like, all the food that I've made inspired by Malik. Like, I tried to encompass like my experience with Malik through like all the flavors and everything that reminded me of him, and then I tried to build off of that to just try to capture the love and comfort I felt in his presence. And that's why my food is so amazing. And I'm like, oh, dude's success is because of Malik. Malik is out here being like, yeah, he's successful because he didn't have me as a ball and chain. And I'm like, no, he's successful because of your guys' love. Like, don't get it twisted, Malik. This man is obsessed. Like, he thinks about him. He has like a whole journal where he like wrote all his feelings about their relationship and everything. And as soon as he saw Malik again, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this man back. I'm gonna get this man back. And he is out here chasing Malik just like he did in the beginning. Like, a lot of people think because Malik is, the less attractive one, and Deshawn is like just so hot, so fine and everything, that they're like, oh, how do you get him? And Deshawn is like, I chased this man. Like, you don't understand. I was like a dog panting after this man, and he finally let me have him, and now he's doing that again. Like, he is out here for Malik. He's like, Malik, he's so beautiful. He's perfect. He's my man. I need to have him back. And just like the way that Deshawn loves Malik, I'm eating it up. Nom, nom, nom. Like a Michelin star meal, let me tell you that right now. And Malik, on the other hand, is very scared. He's really scared to be back here with Deshawn and having all these feelings. And he's been in love with Deshawn this whole time. He never stopped loving him, and he always like struggles to see him and everything, and he's so proud of him and everything, but it still hurts him to see him being so successful, and of course seeing the person that he loves on television just kind of living his life without him. And he's scared that he's gonna fall head over heels in love and give everything to Deshawn, and then for this kind of to be over, for them to, win the case so that Deshawn's uncle doesn't get the money and everything, because that's why they're doing this whole thing, so that, Malik gets the money the way that grandma wants, that they're just going to go their separate ways again. And he's like, no, I'm not going to survive a heartbreak like that again. But it's clear how much he loves Deshawn and how hard it is for him to try to hold back. These two are just like drawn to each other like magnets. Like, the connection is so intense. It's like a little bit mind-boggling. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just loving it. And as far as like the plot, the side plot outside of the romance goes, grandma is still alive. It's very clear that she's getting weaker and weaker. She is, battling cancer, coming to the end of her life and everything, but she's still out there giving her wisdom. She's still out here giving her 2 cents to these boys and telling them to stop fooling around and to realize that they are meant to be together. And you know, she wants to make sure that when she's gone, that her boys, the two that she loves the most, that love her the most, you know, don't just use her as a piggy bank the way that her son did, are taken care of. You know, she really wants that peace of mind of knowing that she's leaving those she loved in a good place. And so she's really invested in these two getting their heads out of their asses and realizing they're meant to be together. So I really like her. She's, you know, your classic I'm all up in your business because I care about you grandma vibes and everything. And as far as like the restaurants and everything go, I'm enjoying that plot line as well, especially when it comes to bringing some success to Malik's family restaurant, because we love to support a small business, especially one that's trying to survive in a gentrified neighborhood and everything like that. So Deshaun is definitely very invested in that because he sees Malik as his family. So he's like, well, this is like my family business because Malik is my family. So he wants to make sure that they succeed and that they succeed in a way that Malik feels proud of. Like he is there supporting Malik in the decisions or the changes that he wants to make, and isn't just going to sit there and use his fame to bring in short-term success. He wants to make sure that he and Malik are able to set up the restaurant for long-term success. So I'm having a great time with this book. As long as it keeps going like this in the second half, I could see this being a 5-star read, if I'm being honest. Like the sexual tension between these two, I'm just like waiting. Like they had their first kiss and I was like, ooh, yes, give me some more of that. So I am very excited to continue reading this book, and it is Friday. And I have a 3-day weekend coming up. Yay me. I have a 3-day weekend coming up. So I will definitely be finishing this book. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it tonight because I do need to go to the gym since I didn't go yesterday. I usually go on Thursdays, but since I had my hair appointment, I didn't end up going. So I'm going to go tonight, and then we'll probably watch a movie tonight. I think, whose turn is it? I kind of suggested to my family that every week someone else chooses a movie, and whatever they want to watch, we're going to watch, because sitting there and trying to decide like what all three of us want to watch is such a headache. So I'm like, what do you want to watch? And if the other people don't want to watch it like at all, they can leave the room. Okay, they can leave the room. So I'm trying to think if it's my turn or not. My dad mentioned that the new Predator movie was now free on Disney, and I've been wanting to watch that one. So if it is my turn, I might choose that one because I've been really wanting to see that movie. But that is my update for now. I will check in with you once I'm done with this book to wrap up my thoughts and to wrap up this vlog.
What's mine? What's mine? I lay awake in the nighttime, slowly losing my mind, waiting for the sunrise. I know I'll go, turn into a no-show. I'm nothing but a photo. You can call me John Doe. When the nights got me waking up alone, cold heart but my head a firestone, wearing jewels like I'm sitting on a throne. Nothing but a broke boy covered up in chrome, nothing but a big ploy hitting on my head. Now that I am unemployed, I can't leave my bed, hoping for some big dreams, but I know they're dead. Trying to shoot my shot, now my body full of lead. Demons in my soul while I'm losing all control, and I'm never going nowhere. Never gonna be the man you wanna see, I'm putting on a show, yeah. Feet on my side, I'm stuck here in the night, you know I'm laying low, yeah.
All right, hello book lovers. I hope that this room is not too echoey because it is relatively empty right now. This is my office room. It is also our guest bedroom, and we are in the process of remodeling it. Like, these are our new painted walls, and I think I'll take a picture even though it's a complete disaster right now and just like let you know the state of it right now, because we are done with the painting and have finally ordered a Murphy bed, which was like what was really stopping us from moving forward with this process, because we could not decide like what Murphy bed we wanted. But I wanted to go ahead and just kind of get used to filming in here, because I have a feeling that I'm gonna film in here a little bit more once it's like set up because of the vision I have. Let's see if I can like make it come to life. But I'm here to go ahead and wrap up this vlog. I hope that my phone doesn't run out of storage, because it has been doing that a lot lately. So fingers crossed. I do want to say at the beginning of this vlog, I did mention that I was going to read an audiobook. That audiobook I am still on hold for. I am still on hold. I literally just checked it before I started filming this video, and I decided that since it was kind of like an extra bonus book that I was throwing on here, because I was like, oh, it'll be quick to read because it's only 4 hours long. Well, I can't read it because it's not here. So I will probably go ahead and still read that at some point this month, but you'll have to wait until my February wrap up to hear my thoughts. So I'm sorry if you were looking forward to that book, but it just didn't work out. Whoever has that book is holding on to it until the very last moment. So let's go ahead and talk about the book that I did finish, which is gonna be If You Love Something by J.C. Ellis, and I'm giving this 5 stars. I am giving this book 5 stars. I am so excited that I got a 5-star read out of this vlog. I just couldn't stop loving these characters. I love them together. I love them as individuals. I love their interactions with their grandmother. Every aspect of the story I absolutely adored. I think that it was just how easy it was for me to see that these people love each other. I didn't question their love for each other one single second during this book. And sometimes you read a story and you're like, yeah, you know, I guess I could see this ending at some point, or yeah, I could see that maybe you guys aren't best for each other. You know, not in this book. Not in this book. In this book, they are literally like soulmates. They are meant to be together. They're not meant to be with anyone else. And I just love a book like that. I just love a book. I mean, look at the word, the love. It's right there. It's so big. It's so bold. It's in your face. And it was exactly what I wanted. I feel like in a world where, and I bring it up so often when I'm talking about books, that I'm like, oh, the world, it's such a terrible place. There's so much hate going around. There's so much sadness and destruction and blah, blah, blah. But there is, and that impacts my reading. It does impact my reading. It would be completely impossible for the state of the world not to impact how I feel about books, about what I'm looking for in books. And to have just so much joy and love in a book, yes, that is exactly what I want. I want to see people coming together, helping each other, supporting each other, making sacrifices for each other, communicating with each other, and figuring out together what works best for them to have a happy life with each other. And I loved it. I loved it. And this book did make me tear up a little bit when it came to, you know, the conversations of losing grandma, because, you know, obviously she's dying of cancer, and she was such a wonderful character. So, you know, the grief that they felt from losing her is a grief that I felt as well. She was clearly an incredible woman, and it's always hard to see people lose such a bright light within their life. And I just thought that that was handled really well. The only thing that I will say is that when it comes to, you know, the plot line revolving the uncle, it was resolved relatively quickly and easily. But at that point, bruh, I didn't care about the uncle. I didn't care about him at all. Okay, I just cared about the people that loved each other. Like, forget about uncle. Forget about Uncle Robert, okay? Let's talk about grandma. Let's talk about Deshawn and Malik and their friends and the people that are supporting them. And that is really what mattered. And that's what the story focused on. The uncle was really just like a catalyst bringing everyone together. And after that, like, who cares? Who cares? Not me. So I am so happy that I gave this 5 stars. It really was such a wonderful read. Yesterday we watched Predator. Is it called Borderlands or Badlands? Probably Badlands, because it was my turn to pick a movie and it was free on Disney and Hulu. So I was like, okay, I would like to watch that. But I was almost like, can we postpone watching this movie because I want to finish this book? But I was like, no, we're gonna watch this movie. And we're gonna go ahead and finish this book after. I did end up finishing this book last night, but it was so late that I decided to wait until today. Happy Valentine's, by the way. Perfect time to go ahead and wrap up this romance vlog. But yeah, just to say, I did not want to put this book down. Like yesterday while I was at the gym, I was on the Stairmaster, weaving around, trying to read this book while I was on it. It was just so addictive. The relationship was so addictive. The writing was beautiful. The characters were beautiful. Everything was beautiful. I mean, there was this one part where their grandma saw them together and she was like, beautiful. You guys are so beautiful together. And I was like, Grandma, they are so beautiful. Like, oh, this is the kind of love I want in my life someday. You know, guys, don't settle. You need to find someone who loves you as much as these two love each other. Like, I'm not even joking. All right, so let's talk about this vlog because it went so much better than January's. Oh my gosh. If you watched my January vlog, it was not the greatest start to the year. I mean, we had a 4-star on that, but we also had a 3-star and a DNF. So the fact that we had our first book, American Dreamer, a 4.5 star, our second book, I Think They Love You, a 4-star, and then our final book, If You Love Something, a 5-star. Let's go, guys. That's so exciting. Those are some high ratings. What I thought was funny is both of these were second chance romances with a fake dating element. Like they were in a second chance romance because they were essentially fake dating. Now in this book, obviously they are just fake dating and no one really knows about it. But in this book, they are like faking that they're rekindling their marriage, and pretty much everyone within their little circle knows about it. So there are some differences, but if you like a second chance that's kind of brought about by fake dating, both of these books would work for that. I did also want to point out that yesterday while I was filling out my spreadsheet and I was looking through this author's books because I was adding this to my what's it called, series tracker, because this one has a companion novel to it. I realized I have read this author before. I thought I hadn't, but years and years ago, even before I started BookTube, I read, what was it called? Running with Lions. It was young adult soccer romance. And I really enjoyed that book. So I guess I shouldn't be so surprised that I enjoyed this author's writing because I have before. So apologies to this author for not realizing that. So Julian Winters will definitely be an author I'm keeping an eye out and checking out again. As far as JC Ellis, I did add one book to my TBR that is on KU. There's like one duology that she has that's on KU. Only the first one is a male-male romance, but I might read the second one in that as well because it is a MF romance, but she is getting back together. I think this author likes second chance romances because both of those books in that series are second chance romance. She is getting back together with her ex-boyfriend who she broke up with because he is, I believe, bisexual, and her family was opposed to that, and she was young and didn't want to make waves with their family, but now she's like, nah, you're not going to talk down to my man because of his sexuality. This is the man I love, and I'm gonna stand by his side. So that's kind of sounds like a concept that I could read. The rest of her books, unfortunately my library doesn't have any, so I would need to buy them. So I think I'll start with her KU series once I get KU at some point, and then see about maybe purchasing some of her books because a 5-star read. I definitely am gonna check her out again. And then Adriana Herrera, I will definitely continue the series. This series has 4 books in it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read the 4th one because, no offense, it is an MF romance while the other 2 are male-male romances, and I'm a little less interested in MF romances. We'll see how I'm feeling. My library has this one, which is the first one, and the 3rd one, but it doesn't have the second second one. So I would like to go ahead and read them in order. So I might need to see if I can buy it. Let me double check. I don't know if I checked if it was available on KU. I would have to check, but the next one I would definitely want to read, and then just Adriana Herrera in general. I will definitely go ahead and continue her work. So what I'm saying is I found some great books and I found some authors that I definitely want to go ahead and continue to check out in the future. All of these books are well worth checking out if you're looking for male romances, and especially if you're looking for ones that are featuring BIPOC authors and written by BIPOC authors as well. I know these two authors are queer. As far as I know, Adriana Herrera, I'm not actually sure about her, so I don't want to say anything about it, but these two are for sure. It's mentioned in their little biographies that they have listed at the end of the book. But yes, a very successful vlog, and I'm a happy little camper. I'm a happy little camper. I think the rest of the books that I put on my TBR for February are a little bit more on the depressing side. So hopefully these guys went ahead and filled my cup when it comes to love and joy. And now I can get into some of the darker, more difficult reads. But that being said, let me know if you've read any of these books, if you've read any of these authors, which books of theirs you really enjoy, and let me know if I convinced you to read any of these. And as always, guys, thank you so much for supporting my channel by watching my videos, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!